But we can start because we do have Brian with us, right, Brian?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You're here. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have a quorum, which is great. We can officially start. So Brian, we were just about to hear from Karen, who is going to be joining us as a new commission member. She's going to be meeting with the mayor via Zoom next Tuesday. So then after that, it'll just be a matter of the council readings. She'll likely be an official member by our next meetings, my guess, depending. I'm sure they'll have 2 more meetings before our next meeting. So Karen, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself while we're waiting for Sean, we'll just catch him up.
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Karen Sakaniwa, and I've lived in Newburyport twice. The first time for about 3 years. My kids were very little. And then we took a detour and came back to Newburyport. We've been back since 2013.
Nice.
And my son has moderate bilateral hearing impairment. That's basically as a result of medication he was given as an infant for pneumonia.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. But you know, it's been fine.
Yeah.
You know, kids are amazing. They really do adapt.
Yeah.
So
And how old is he now?
He's 21.
Wow, great.
Yeah. He's at Rochester Institute of Technology, which has an amazing program for students with hearing impairment.
Nice.
That's excellent.
Yeah. The
Great.
National Technical Institute for the Deaf. It's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, very good. We're very, very happy to have you interested, and hopefully you'll like what we do and want to be a part of it.
In a past life, I was a supervisor a couple of times for an intern program we had going with Gallaudet College.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so I became relatively fluent in signed English.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I never learned ASL, but
right, signed English. Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm still pretty fluent. I fingerspell at a lightning speed.
That's fantastic.
And Kristen, you want to share what you do?
Sure. So, hi, Karen. I'm Kristen Farrell. I'm a sign language interpreter, nationally certified.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that, Lisa? Yeah.
How did I not know that?
And Brian has a cool connection to deaf people too. So, but yeah, I'll let him introduce himself. But I'm an interpreter. I've been working as an interpreter. Today I did the math. It's actually been 18 years, which makes me very old. And so I kind of wear 2 hats, and my children have a physical mobility disability. My son is a wheelchair user, and my daughter has some ambulation issues, but they have a neurological disease called spinal muscular atrophy. So I came here sort of from both avenues, and I'm the acting secretary on the commission, sort of the by default treasurer as well. Yeah. So if you have any interest in the treasurer position, always looking for people. It's not a lot of work. It's really kind of easy, but welcome. Good to have you here.
I'll add, this is Lisa again, that I'm in a wheelchair, so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So.
No.
And I already mentioned that I have a visual impairment. I came to the commission about 8 years ago with an issue that there was no buzzing lights anywhere in the city, and they basically just asked me to join the commission. So.
Oh, perfect.
So here I still am.
Excellent.
And Brian, why don't you go ahead?
Hi, everybody. Welcome, Karen.
Hi.
I'm my first career was with AARP, and I worked with various national programs, and I sort of tried to extend the services to hearing impaired and deaf individuals. But then when I retired, I learned a transcribing program for the deaf and hard of hearing. So I'm a transcriber for university students with various levels of hearing impairment or are deaf. And And
So-
so
I'm sorry to interrupt, but where do you do that? My son relies on that heavily at university setting.
I actually, the first year I did it in 2012, I was actually on site at different colleges in the Washington, D.C. area. Then when I moved up here, my work became mostly remote. So I work for various companies that assign me to schools like throughout the country.
Perfect.
So we can talk about it later if you're interested. But yeah, it's a fascinating career and great to be of service. And I get to take all kinds of courses in all kinds of subjects and not have to pay for it.
That's right.
That is a pretty good bonus, you know, Brian. I never really thought of it that way, but that's
Vicarious
actually
learning,
pretty
right?
cool.
Vicarious learning.
Yes.
Yes, and he's also a very talented member of our Newburyport Choral Society. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, incredible.
Always looking for new members.
I was one for many years, Brian.
Oh, I didn't know that, Lisa.
Yeah, when Jerry was there.
Oh, right. Okay. I caught the last semester with Jerry in
Yeah.
2014 before he retired. And then I don't want to get into all that. But if anybody's interested, this is our first semester doing remote rehearsals.
Oh, wow.
So, so you know, you don't have to actually come to Belleville Church to rehearse. It'll be all remote. So anyway,
Wow.
so much for that.
Now,
Little
did Sean
advertisement.
join us? Has Sean joined us yet?
No, the second Lisa Rowan has dropped off, and there is nobody else added. Bob is present, though, however.
But Bob, I heard Bob come in. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. We were just meeting Karen. She's
Yeah.
going to be a new member.
I was listening.
And we're just waiting on Sean to get in because we kind of got a little mixed up with the links being individualized. And we'll make sure that, Karen, that you'll get a link by our next meeting, because I suspect the city council will meet twice before then, and you'll be official by then.
Excellent.
So,
Jenny,
yeah.
have you heard from Rich at all?
Yeah, Rich is not going to be actually able to join us tonight. He was planning on it, and then he, as it turns out, had a conflict for the whole day.
Okay, I wanted to make sure
Yeah.
somebody had
So
been
we're
in
not-
touch with him.
Yeah, we're not expecting Rich. And as it turns out, Chris he can't do the Zooms. You just can't do them at all. So we're not going to see him at all until we get to meet in person again.
Okay.
And I think actually part of that is probably because he doesn't have access to the library too.
For the technology aspect.
Yeah. So,
It is possible to do the Zoom on a smartphone, but it's
I
not
do.
very
I do on the
user friendly.
smartphone, but
Oh, okay.
It's a little difficult. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got it. That's what I'm doing on my iPhone. I don't know what kind of
Okay.
phone he has. I don't know. You know, he can't. He doesn't seem to be able to do it. He said he can't do Zoom. So I
Okay.
had to say,
Yeah.
okay. What
Right.
can I do about that? Not much. But Rich will hopefully join us next month. But
Great.
we're good. We've got a quorum. So
Great.
hopefully Sean will figure it out and get in. Maybe he's trying to get to the city. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, Kristen, you've got our agenda in front of you.
I
I'm
do.
assuming?
Yep.
Okay.
I do,
great.
and Andy has actually shared the screen, so depending on how much visibility you have, the agenda's on the side there.
Okay. For everyone, that's great. For me, it means nothing.
No, that's okay. It's like I said, the iPhone thing
Yeah.
with Zoom is sort of quirky. It doesn't
It's
show you
just,
much.
I mean, I can do it. I can hear everybody, and that's
Great.
all that matters. So, you know, I can't do a whole lot on there myself. So,
Sure.
as long as I don't have to touch many buttons, I'm good. Took me a minute to
So,
get my audio and my video on. So,
yeah. So we can start with Bob, ADA coordinator updates.
okay.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
Hi. So Karen, just to introduce myself, I'm the building commissioner for the city. I'm also the ADA coordinator, the liaison between the commission. I handle any complaints and give updates to the commission as needed. And updates I have, and no complaints. Luckily, it's been quiet and good, even with all the outside seating.
Excellent.
I sent a picture of a couple things on my list that I've been following up with Tony about. Before he went on vacation, he was going to investigate the intersection at Boardman Street and Merrimack. There was some confusion about that. So that is underway at High Street. There's quite a bit of work going on up there. There was also a curb cut that was needed at the intersection of Middle Street and Center Street. And,
oh, excellent.
That came in last year.
That big fat curb.
That huge curb, correct. That came in last year as a postcard to me.
Oh, I remember that postcard.
Yes.
That was a great one. So I sent that to him again for a request to get on that. He did say that was going to be a springtime project, but we know what's going on.
Right.
You sent a picture of it, Bob, today.
That's right, yes.
So no, but that's going to be worked on. Good, good.
I hope so. I'm going to push him on it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I can report a little bit about the outdoor dining.
Okay, yeah, let's hear about that.
Well, the challenge is, and I guess you just have to prevail upon the shop owners, but the restaurant owners, but everybody has all of their barriers. The extended area goes into the street, but the only way to get there is to step down the curb. And I can't step down the curb. So you actually would have to prevail upon the restaurant owner to move planters or ropes or whatever so you can get in from the street side.
Street side, okay.
Lisa, is that because you can't traverse the sidewalk because of the way the seating is, or?
No, if I can explain it this way, the outdoor dining is on two levels. Outdoor dining is on the sidewalk, and then it's on the street. And there's a step between the two. So you can get a table on the sidewalk, but if the only available are on the street side, you can't get there because the barriers that cordon off the restaurant surround the seating area on the street.
Right. So I thought some of those restaurants were going to have portable ramps or some way to traverse that, or they were going to bring in raised platforms that would be equal level with the curbs, but I just don't think that's allowed yet or been financially affordable for these places, unfortunately. And I don't think we have much more of that outside seating that's going to last. I think that ends at the end of the month, maybe.
Right. Yeah, seems kind of something we just got to muscle through, I guess.
Exactly. And if I were to press the point, I would just say, just come on over and maybe move this rope for me, and I'll scoot in. I mean, I haven't pressed the point. I know they'd be willing to do that. Just
right.
At face value, I can't get to those lower levels.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is lousy.
Well, hopefully it won't be the case next summer. let's just knock on wood and hope that things are back to normal by then.
I love the idea of having greater outdoor seating, but
yeah. Well, it should definitely, needs to be a little more fluid then, it sounds like. So, Bob, since you were talking about some of the sidewalk projects, there is one item I wanted to bring up with you. It's not on the agenda, but it coincides with those things. I got an email from a resident on Ashland Street that is very concerned about the project being done at the bottom of the street. They're working on the crosswalk, the sidewalk, and he feels that it doesn't appear that it's going to be ADA compliant, which I'm not sure where the gentleman has that idea, but because if it's being done, I assume it's being done to compliance. It's city work, I can't imagine what he might be referring to.
He didn't give you specifics, Jenny, if he's concerned about the tactile strip or the crosswalk itself, or?
He just said that was going to leave issues with access. And I'm not sure if he was more concerned about the sight lines or if because he really didn't get too specific, and I don't think he's able to because they're not done the project. But I know he's got issue with the project as a whole. He's been very vocal about it. Not sure if he's joined us in the gallery at all. I don't know.
No, there's nobody there.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So I'll go by there tonight on my way out and I'll take a look. I'll take some pictures and see what I can find.
Yeah, if you could just maybe find out like what the outcome is going to be of that work that they're doing, as long as that there's curb cuts and truncated domes and they're facing the right way, then, you know, then we're good with compliance. But, you know, let's make sure that that's not getting overlooked for any reason. And maybe you could get back to me on whatever you find out about it. Because it was a concern raised, you know, by the residents. So I want to at least try to get an answer for them.
Okay. I'll go by there tonight.
Okay. And of course, if for any reason it doesn't look like it's in the plans and they're just replacing curbs or something, I mean, obviously we have to raise that up and let them know they can't do that, they have to change the plan and make it accessible, of course. I just can't imagine that's not already the case. So you'll have to just take a peek-see on that one for me.
Sure.
And yeah, that was it for that. Okay, so do you have anything else, Bob?
No, I don't. The third agenda item was the, let's see, no, not that one. The fourth agenda item, the Plum Island Moby Mat update.
Yes,
So,
which I was going to say, we got your photos and your comments that it was just mainly just portions of it were coated in sand, so it looked like it was further away than it really was.
Correct. It did extend all the way to the asphalt.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's great to hear. So that's actually, they installed it correctly this year. That's great. And so then we can just jump right into the agenda stuff then, if that's pretty much, I think that you had, Bob. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
next we have the accessible swings update.
right. There was an email from Jason LeBlanc, who was one of the parents that started the initiative that donated the money from his wife's birthday 2 years ago now. She literally just had another birthday go by. And so he was pretty frustrated, and he sent kind of a pretty slightly scathing email to Lise Reed and all of us, and about questioning about the swings yet. So I kind of decided to just get the mayor's looped in on that situation, because Jason's really upset and all of this has gone on so long. So I basically just forwarded her the email and said, we've got to do something about this. What can we do here? So as a result of that, I did get an email from Lise Reed that even though she felt it was ludicrous to add swings when they were being told to take swings down from the state, even though they hadn't even done that yet. But the mayor has ordered that the remaining handicap swings in the size 2 to 5 range get hung. And so that will be done by the end of this week, she said. So I did try to email her today. I didn't hear back, but I don't know if it's done or if it'll be done by tomorrow's end of day. I'm hoping that it doesn't get extended any longer and they'll just be done. So, but I don't know if they're up yet. Kristen, have you noticed at all? Have you been down?
I was paying close attention after that email got sent around and Lisi's response. I have not seen anything the last 2 days, but I haven't really been paying attention.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, hopefully she'll just respond to my email and I'll get a follow-up from her.
Yeah,
But
I wasn't really clear on whether that directive to remove swings was actually from the state or not. I
she
don't,
claimed that it was from the state, but
yeah,
but they
I
hadn't
didn't,
gotten around to it anyway.
right.
So it was sort of like,
I-
I think she just didn't want to do it because they didn't want to be adding stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree that if
Whatever.
they have to take swings away, then it doesn't make sense to add swings. Although I would also argue that the swings that would be taken away could be the typical playground swings and leave the accessible swings. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, and that's likely
We
what's
can
going to happen
kind of
anyway.
follow
But
up on that.
honestly, at this, stage in the game, I doubt they're going to get around to taking swings down. I mean, um, they haven't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't know.
mean, even a swing on a swing set, even in a home use swing set, they're, 3 feet apart from each other. So
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
playground swing set, they are spread more widely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why they would need to.
And that's why I think it hasn't been a huge priority. So,
Right. Okay.
so hopefully the swings will finally get hung up, and poor Jason and his family and the other families can finally feel, validated in their efforts, because that was quite some time ago that they started that initiative, um, just for the swings. So,
Right.
yeah, but it looks like the mayor has lit a real fire under the Parks Department's,
Good.
bottom. So, yeah. So, okay, what's
We have the paid parking for handicapped placards at Plum Island Point. That came up as a resident question.
yes, it did. And I know you had asked me as well. So, the resident had also ended up reaching out to me herself, and I looked into things. I spoke with the harbor master's office initially, and then I ended up speaking with Paul Hogg, the harbor master, and he agreed, because even though that lot is not run by the city, it's run by the harbor master's office. It should be consistent with what the city does, and the city doesn't charge for handicap parking, so they shouldn't either.
What was the question?
I'm sorry, Lisa. So a resident reached out to me sort of in a panic because she had been sort of aggressively approached when she questioned the harbor master staff on the Plum Island Point parking lot, because municipally owned parking lots are fee waived for placard or handicap parking license plates. So like the parking garage downtown and other city owned lots, if there's a parking fee, it's waived for those placards.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yes. So you can park in the garage anytime you want with your placard for free, or your HB plate. It's not, there's only a few spaces, but so the lots that are privately owned, like the
Kristen,
downtown lots and that sort of thing, are not.
Let me interrupt, Kristen, just so that Lisa knows this, and to clarify, it actually doesn't matter what spot you're in. It doesn't have to be a handicap parking spot.
Oh,
still
that's
don't have to
right.
pay.
That's true. Correct. As long as you have the
As long as you
placard
have
or
the
the
placard
license plate.
hanging.
And that's
or the
actually
plate.
true statewide, Lisa. So if you
Yeah.
go into Boston and you're in a municipal parking lot, those are
Most of
all meters
well,
and so forth.
a lot of them are run privately. And so you'll find a lot of the lots and garages in the city are exempt from that, but all the meters, it's very distinctly applied to all meter parking, because that was what the law was actually designed for.
Yeah, that's what I knew. I didn't know it applied to municipal garages.
It can be to the discretion of the city, and we're staying consistent with what they do in all the lots. So
the resident question was that I think now, because the Plum Island public parking lot is city owned, but it is run by the harbor master. The harbor master's office was telling this resident that she still had to pay, and she was saying that she didn't, she was under the impression that she didn't. So I suggested that she reach out to Jenny because I wasn't really sure, but I thought that it sounded like it should be also fee waived. So that's good that the harbor master kind of came to that
So yeah, he agreed
decision.
because it's always been paid there. Handicap parking's always been paid there, because it's a cash collected, in a booth, everybody pays type of parking lot. But he did agree that there should be consistency. So that's what he, expressed to the Harbor Commission, and they agreed. So that's now official in that handicap parking is now free down at the Point parking lot.
Okay, good. And you don't need a resident permit or anything?
You don't need a permit. You do need
I
to
don't know
be a
about that.
resident.
I'm
It's
not
still
sure.
resident only
I think it
parking.
might still be resident.
Yeah.
only.
Yes, I don't think there's an actual permit, but you just have to be a city resident.
How do you prove
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I don't know what
With
they
your
do.
driver's
I'm not sure what they
license?
do.
Okay.
I'm not really
Okay.
sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that
I
parking
haven't-
lot has been largely empty since the declaration of resident only. There's been hardly
Right.
anybody down there.
Right.
Right.
It's unfortunate. So, okay.
Not
So
great.
yeah, I
That's
just
not
wanted
great.
to
You're right.
basically update everybody on the, that that's now consistent with the rest of the city parking. So that's good. And then I think that was pretty much just it, besides Kristen.
The last two items are the construction on Boardman and High and the curb cut updates at bottom of Boardman Street.
Right.
So I think that's what Bob already touched on those.
Yep. Yep.
And then the handicap parking report update. I have been communicating with Susan Aquaviva in the
Clerk's office.
I don't know if she's in the clerk's office or the tax office.
She kind of works
But
independently.
anyway, she's who we get our reports from for quarterly and fiscal year reports. She actually has been not able to get into City Hall, and she had she did not have remote access with her laptop. So she and I have been in touch, and she is now working remotely from the Brown School. So she'll have those final reports for the end of the last fiscal year to us for next meeting. So she felt terrible, and she's so lovely. She was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's fine. We're not under any sort of time pressure or anything like that. But once we have that, that'll give us a good chunk of 3 fiscal years worth of data as far as the violations that have been paid. I still haven't received answers to the question about what happens to violations that are not paid. Where do those go in the reporting system? If somebody just ignores their violation and doesn't pay it, I don't know how that works. So still trying to track that down, but we should know more for September anyway. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be good. And, like I said, I mean, the whole raising the parking fine seems less urgent at this point, given, the climate of parking and people going out, but it's still something that we want to eventually conquer and be sort of done with. If we can reach that limit of 300, then we don't ever have to really revisit that, and that would be great. So, okay. Well, let's see. How are we doing on time? It is 5:37. I did have a new sort of related to the outdoor dining kind of thing, a little bit of a bone of contention that maybe Bob can help shed some light on. I was out and about, which is rare for us, but I did notice that the Black Cow, where their cordoned off Merrimack Street patio is on the front, which is technically their only accessible entrance, which Lisa has voiced some issues with in the past because they generally have that door locked and you have to go through the sort of rope barrier to get to that door and then get in through the bar. They now have that marked as one-way exit only.
Oh my God.
And I think that's because they probably are thinking that people go in the side door and can come out that exit. And because of COVID, that's probably one of their remediations for social distancing or physical distancing. But Bob, could you take a look at that? This is really bugging me because it's such a beautiful building, and the fact that they went through all of that construction and all of that, improvements to that whole intersection and everything, and it's just that it's so not accessible. It's really kind of maddening.
Well, my bone of contention is even if you get someone to let you in that door,
you
it
can't
takes
really
you
go
into
anywhere.
you can't go anywhere.
Right.
So why
Because
wasn't the accessible entrance done at the front? Do we know?
That's a good quote.
It's
Well,
up
technically the
3
front door is
stairs.
the side door. So technically what they use as the main access is the side door, but it is up 3 very stone steps. And once you're in, there is an elevator to the second floor.
Yes.
But you can't, to get in from that Merrimack Street exit, brings you right into the bar. There's a bunch of high top tables and the bar, although it may be a little better spread out now because of the requirements of reduced capacity.
Right.
But even still, I specifically noticed a do not enter, one way, exit only sign at the edge of that little walkway there. And I was like, no, that's not okay.
Right.
Well, there's a couple of
No,
problems
they've
with it.
got to swap that
You
around.
can't get onto the patio on where the door for accessibility is available.
The patio is a curb?
No, they've got it blocked with metal roping.
Ah.
Right. So I'll talk with the owner there. They're pretty good about that. But there's also a maximum distance to the handicap parking, and hopefully that's in compliance also.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's
a good
fine.
question.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The handicap parking spaces are closer to the main entrance,
Right.
which is not accessible.
Which is not accessible.
Right.
Right. So yeah, maybe we need to follow up with them, because at the very least they need to swap the entrance and exit. If they need to have it one way, then they need to have that Merrimack Street accessible entrance.
I mean, I don't think that they need to have it one way. I just think that that's something that they may have done, thinking that that was going to solve some sort of problem. But
yeah, I don't know.
Well, I have the same problem. I have the same problem with Plum Island Coffee.
Oh.
The accessible entrance is the exit. They won't let me get in there.
Oh.
I think due to COVID, they're trying to keep people from merging at one doorway, and that's their route per se. Come in one door, exit the other door, and then you don't have people crossing at the door there, but that's not right that they're...
That's right. So
well, then can't they?
They would tell me to order online, and what I like is not on the menu. I have to tell them what I want. So anyway.
Yeah, that's not good.
If they're going to be open to the public, they need to be
made at all accessible doors. They can't not let people in the accessible doors that are in a wheelchair. That has something to be said.
If they're open to the public, they're going to be open to everyone.
Yeah,
that's right.
So they have to. Something has to be said to them that they can't. They have to make. They're going to have to just make exceptions, if that's the case. And when people need to come in a wheelchair, they need to open those doors.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have to put a ramp at the front door.
Or put a ramp at the front door in the meantime. It's all they have to do something. So
okay, I will speak to them.
Okay,
Bob, you're always on the case.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob's the best.
You're welcome.
He is.
Yeah,
and so glad you got that job.
Yes, congratulations.
Great,
again.
congrats.
No one deserves it more, for sure. Definitely good stuff. Well, I'm a little bummed Sean didn't get into the meeting. He must have just got a little flustered and gave up. But he'll be with us next month, I'm sure.
And I promise I won't mess everybody up next time. I thought I was being helpful.
I was almost going to do the same thing, and then I wasn't sure, and then you already did, and then I was like, oh, okay. But then Kristen caught that. So
I was like, no.
Yeah, I'll make sure that Sean knows that the link that you sent him is one to keep, that's his individual link to get in. I'll just make sure I shoot him a message later. And that should be fine.
If we can get like a resending of the message, because this happens a lot, you know, people are good about sending out the message like, you know, 3-4 weeks, you know, in advance, and then it comes to that day and you totally forget.
I'm
Well,
not sure if you were
and what
on,
day.
Brian, but if you cut and paste the link, your personal link that Andy sent you, you can paste it into your Outlook calendar or your Gmail calendar, and you can set it as a recurring every second Thursday of the month, so it'll auto-populate that link, and then all you have to do is click on it from your calendar, and it will be there. So
Okay.
that's, yeah.
Because I think the idea was that Andy was going to send us all our links initially, and unless we really lost it, you know, he's very busy, can't just be sending them out every month.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Okay.
he's running all these meetings for all the different commissions and everything. So we were to, you know, do him that favor and hold on to our links. So just, you got to just search your email for Zoom panelist and your link will be in there. That's what I found was the panelist was the key word.
Yeah, I think it was, I dated it, I sent the email around to all of us that it was June 25th, the original email. So if you sort by date, it should show up there too.
Yeah.
I vow to remember that mine is mine only.
Well, now we all know. For
Lisa's
sure.
gonna Zoom bomb all these other meetings with her privately, all these other things. That's great.
And I also want to say that I think I may have a class coming up this semester that's going to conflict with the 5 o'clock meetings on Thursday. So I don't know what to do at this point because I have to turn it down.
What's your schedule going to be for that? Is it going to be every Thursdays or just certain days? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this class that I accepted, and I accepted it, not even thinking about this meeting, but it's every Thursday, you know.
Okay.
From 4 to 6, basically.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
was there an issue with us meeting at 6? I can't remember. Was that because of Andy, our schedule?
Mainly because Andrew usually having another meeting after this one.
Okay.
He's typically not available that later, you know, for that later meeting on the Thursday.
Hi. This is Andy. I'm happy to try to flex for a different time. My main concern was just that we can't, because I'm hosting other Zoom meetings, like you were saying. I typically have meetings, almost always they're at 7, but sometimes there are meetings at 6 or 6:30. And so what happens is if I don't have a few minutes in between to toggle between and make sure everything's set up for the board members, they can run into problems starting their meetings and running them. So that's why I'm happy to flex or work with a different time as long as it just doesn't conflict with other Zoom scheduling I have.
Wait, you know what? I take it back. I'm looking at the wrong day of the week. Yeah, I'm still good. I'm still good.
Oh, good.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Okay, scratch that from the minutes.
Excellent. All right, very good then. Oh, and speaking of minutes,
rewind, erase.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes.
No worries. Speaking of the minutes, Kristen, let's. I motion to table approving this minutes from last month since we didn't get to them.
Thank you. Yes.
I
just sent them a few minutes before this meeting, and I had February's, which didn't seem to get circulated. We did not meet in March, April, May,
right,
or June. Yikes, 4 months. Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe, Andy, is there something that you have to do? I did get the recording and the transcript of our last meeting, but does that go? I didn't check to see if that automatically gets posted on our website, or is there something we need to do with Matt Coogan to do that?
No, you know what I can do is I can Diane Bover, our administrative assistant in the office. I have been sending for our boards. I've been sending those to her. It's a long story, but I've been basically we created a YouTube channel She has been uploading all the videos to that channel.
Okay.
But there's a transitional process where we basically take it from the Zoom platform and put it on YouTube.
Okay.
So what I can do is I can just add you, copy you on the email to what is essentially the Zoom recording of that. But we're basically, in order to make sure we have enough space on the Zoom server, we're basically just moving it over to YouTube.
Okay.
You know, once it's there, then we don't have to keep the Zoom copy because it's already out there posted. So, and we can include you on that one. But the idea there and what Dan was doing was essentially linking the video to the city's calendar or the city website with the YouTube link. That way people could just go right to that YouTube channel and see any of the boards that we have posted their videos.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering about that because we've been sort of struggling a little bit with getting minutes on the website, and not for anyone in City Hall's doing. It's just that we haven't coordinated with Matt to get those posted. So if the live streams are available, then that is just another way that people could get the info from our meetings if they needed to.
Sure. Yeah, you and I can follow up offline and take care of that. And,
awesome.
Close that loop. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, does anyone have anything else they want to bring up? No? Okay. Well, then I think we've made pretty good time.
Yeah, great. It's 5:49.
Okay.
So we will, the next date is September 10th?
Yep, that
September
sounds
10th.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Well, then if there's no objections, then I motion to adjourn a little early, 10 minutes early.
I
Perfect.
think we're
Everyone
good.
Second that.
Second. Lisa, want a second?
Second, I second it.
Okay, all
We're
right.
very efficient in Zoom.
Yes, we are. Awesome.
Yes,
It's
very
it's a much easier commute for us all.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, welcome, Karen. Thank you for joining us. And
Hey,
I
thanks
hope
for
you
having me.
enjoyed. Do you have any questions before we go?
I don't.
Okay.
I know they'll come to me like an hour from now.
Well, you can reach me anytime. You know how to find me. Feel free. Anything that comes up, for sure.
Perfect. Thank
No
you.
problem. Okay. All right, everybody. Until next month, stay safe, stay cool, and have a great week.
yes, you
Everybody
too.
do as well.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks, Bob,
everyone.
for all your
Bye.
work. Thanks, Andy, for moderating.
Thanks. Bye-bye.